your progression is just catch any damn fish. Second progression, part of that is numbers. And then third,
I think third is size.
you just start chasing size.
And then fourth would probably be species.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But then you settle in at some point, right?
Back to just wanting to catch a fish.
Right.
I think there's a book written about it, like it's similar to like the fly fisherman's journey is similar to like a mayfly, going from larva to full hatch to laying eggs to back to larva again.
Yeah, right. A circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys get hung up. We can all get hung up a little bit on the big fish once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Because you think about it, like Brian, answer your question. Like for me, yeah, it was starting off like the learning piece of fly fishing and calming of the mind, because fly fishing keeps your mind so busy. Like if you're truly immersed in fly fishing, I think that, especially on a river that's moving and you're moving, and then you add a drift boat to that too. If to learn, you truly have to be paying attention and be fully present. Like you have to be where your feet are at that time. And for me, that was really good for my mind.
Walking through the forest, laughing back and forth at what the other one has to say.
Tyrel, you good to go?
Yeah, dude, I think we're good to go.
I love it. Welcome to the Reckless Studio. This is our first time in studio with 4 people at the new table. For those of you that are watching, this is my blood, sweat, and tears the last 2 weeks. Some scraps laying around the building, some alligator plastic from Hobby Lobby for the boys.
That's sweet.
We've got a couple of my really, really good friends in. On my right, if you're looking, is Quinn Moran. Been, I don't even know how long. We've been buddies for a very long time. Met on a river.
We did.
Which is where like all good friendships start. And so Quinn lives close by. One of my very, very good fishing friends, and we're going to talk a little bit about life and fishing today. To my left, Tony Spadafora, the one and only. Also a good fishing buddy. Met him in a gas station parking lot. Got a rod vault on this truck.
Still have the business card.
Yeah, and I handed a business card to him. I said, hey, we've got a little place up on a river here in Wyoming, or about north of us in Wyoming. And I said, if you're ever going up, if you ever heard of it before? Yeah. And little did I know that Tony had half those fish named already. He's fished it so much. So
it was a good day, man.
So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then, of course, Brother Bubba.
You guys.
In studio.
Thanks for coming in. I just learned about the gas station story.
Did you?
From my wife.
It was funny.
The other day.
Was like pumping diesel. And this giant shadow cast over me. And I looked up. And here we are.
It was love at first sight.
It was.
Yeah. So,
see, and I just always assumed it came from your daughters in school.
Yeah, that came later. You know, we've been fortunate enough to have proximity since then.
Yeah, proximity is key, man. I mean,
proximity.
That's a big thing for us to be done. I mean, we're all essentially in the same, kind of in the same neighborhood, which is nice. It helps with those last minute adventures when you got a buddy living close by and say, hey, who wants to hop in the truck, throw some rods in and go find a place to fish a little bit. And so, Quinn, let's start with you on the right side here. Just introduce yourself a little bit and tell us how you found, tell me your first memory fishing.
My first memory fishing.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. So I started at a really young age with my dad.
Yeah.
Like 3 and 4 years old. I remember he had a Toyota like 1985 red truck. The ones that supposedly had a back seat.
Oh yeah, the seats that like fold down from the sides.
The side fold down.
That's like, what is it like when the pilots ride in the plane and it's just that, what's the name for that seat?
A jumper seat.
The jumper seats. They were basically those little jumper seats. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember like rolling around in there, and then like even back in the day, then he had like a soft topper on the back. And I'd ride in the back of his truck on dirt roads, going fishing, bouncing around on metal.
Bro,
3 and 4 years old.
Yeah, kids don't like the amount of time we spent in the back of a truck as a kid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Compared to now, like you would, if you saw a kid sitting in the back of the truck, you'd be like, he's abused, you know? I mean, I remember Tyrel, our dad, took us all the way to Winnemucca, Nevada to pick up a horse.
Yep.
In the back of the truck.
We rode in the back of the truck
to pick up a horse.
Wind blown.
I only know it from stories.
Your little ass was inside the truck. I remember looking in there, you and your sister, and it's like
inside.
You guys are just inside, all warm, reading books, and then me and Adam and Joe were in the back. we have a blue tarp over our heads. You know what I mean? Just like dying, dude. That's like, how many hours is that? I mean, is
I don't know. It's got to be
12, 15 hours
11,
or something?
Yeah.
Winnemucca.
You got some chapped lips by the time you get to Winnemucca, Nevada. In the back of the truck.
Where is Winnemucca, Nevada?
Well, I don't even know where Winnemucca,
I bet it was a
Nevada
good
is.
horse too.
And
if I
what
had to
were you?
guess.
You were getting a horse.
It better be a damn good horse.
It's awesome.
Tyrel's gonna look. Tyrel, can you look up Winnemucca, Nevada over there? Do we have that capability yet? I mean, we're doing the new studio here.
Yeah, like what's that drive?
I don't know how to spell Winnemucca.
There's a bunch of N's in it.
Winning.
So like a 12-hour drive.
I think it's like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I could picture Quinn and your brother in there with you, Quinn.
No.
Yeah.
So younger ones weren't even born yet. I was so young. And my dad used to take me to the same spot that you guys were referencing before, your favorite river.
We can talk about that. We can talk about the mile.
The mile. It's out there now.
I think we have
It
to
is.
talk about the
It's-
mile. I don't see us getting away with it.
I think everybody knows about it now, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
no secret anymore.
Yeah.
But my dad would take me up there when I was little, and we'd go camp in the back of that Toyota truck or on the ground. Usually no tent involved. It was just sleeping bags, either on metal or on the ground. And we'd go for days. And then my dad wasn't fly fishing. He was doing all the conventional gear,
Yeah. For sure.
throwing spoons out like most people do and did then. And my dad always told me, he's like, man, I heard about these big fish that are in this river. I really want to catch one.
Yeah.
And we'd be up there for days searching for that fish, breaking rods.
Were kid casters a thing then? You have one of those?
You know what's so funny is I actually have a memory. I was on the mile down by the bluffs,
Mm-hmm.
and I was done hanging out with my dad because when you're young, fishing gets boring pretty quick unless you're catching fish.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, Dad, I'm going to make my own rod and I'm going to catch my own fish. So I found a stick and a piece of string and a hook and put it all together. And he's like, oh, you're not going to catch anything, Quinn. And sure as shit, caught a big old sucker fish down at the chalk
Nice.
bluffs, all on my own.
That's kind of awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Which is probably like, I mean, as a kid, you don't care. It's like sucker or not, doesn't matter.
Well, my dad wasn't catching any trout or anything. So I thought I was doing much better, but I'm super grateful because with my experience at the mile, throughout my life and the times that I've had there with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
to bring it back to being there as a little kid is really, really special, and when you drive around that place and all the plaques and the lanyards and the monuments for some of the people and the individuals and things that have been there, knowing that that's a big part of my past and
Mm-hmm.
the memories that I've had with my kids there, it's a very, very special place.
Yeah, I think regardless of how busy that place is getting and known, it will always remain a special place, right?
For sure.
Yeah, all the way through. It's a special place for all
It
of us,
is.
man.
It's a view. Tony, how about you? What was your first fishing memory?
A little bit older than Quinn's age. I grew up in Silverthorne, and my first memories were conventional gear, Lake Dillon.
Throwing
Right,
in the blue.
Right. Yeah. I remember seeing back in the old days in Silverthorne, all there was a truck stop, the McDonald's, the city market, factory stores weren't there. I remember going down into town with Mom, getting supplies, doing our errands, and you'd always see anglers in the river there. And they used to do the Summit County State Fair, or County Fair, excuse me, right down there at the base of the dam. And yeah, it was something I observed more than I did initially. I was into a lot of more motorsports and other things as a
Yeah,
kid.
dude. And when you're younger, like fly
Yeah.
fishing is super intimidating.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a lot.
And you didn't really understand what it was fully. It was just
Right.
kind of like young age fishing. It wasn't until like high school age, even into college years, those years where living with Luke, who you guys know.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke, if he
Luker.
We'll get
catches
Luke in.
this, yep, well, to get him down. And him leaving at 2 a.m, 3 a.m. to do those mild trips back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And in the kind of picking up on that, and I'd go my way, do my thing. And then I was into more motorsport stuff or trail riding and
Yeah, and that's
and,
kind of a commonality with you and Quinn is like you
Yeah.
guys both. I mean, Quinn, you kind of grew up riding bulls.
Yep.
Rodeo.
And Tony, you were like a
yeah.
crazy motorsport guy. So you
Wasn't
guys,
until I got that final injury, my wife looked at me in young early marriage with little girl. Caleb was alive. I was 2, and Delia was just little, 3 months, something like that. She's
what'd you do? What'd you hurt?
I completely broke my greater tuberosity, my humerus, shaved the
Mhm.
shoulder. It was down here, concussed. And Jill just looked at me and said, like,
You're done.
I need you
Yeah.
And I literally took the proceeds from that last motorcycle and went and bought like my first Winston Vapor or whatever,
Your
and
setup
Right.
kit.
yeah, my first 9-foot, nice rod, 5-weight, and little Orvis Bat and Gill reel, Breck Outfitters, I think we went and got it from. And just started slowing down a little bit. Right.
I think that's pretty common. Like you see a lot of dudes that kind of are into that, those adrenaline junkie types,
Mm-hmm.
and you see them push into fly fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of a punk rock kind of thing. But I think that, you know, I see a lot of that with guys that were sort of like the old punk rock skater type, adrenaline junkie, whether it's the cowboy adrenaline junkie riding bulls or just the motocross guys like yourself. That it really like I think something weird about fly fishing like pulls that personality
Mm.
in.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe you guys can tell me what it is, if it's just like that very opposite, like a super peaceful, or is it their rush, or what is it that you think kind of draws that punk rock mentality of
Well, yeah. For me, I just think, it was being intentional on learning and something you can never really master. Right?
yeah,
Like for me, it's been an evolution since I was my first intentions of fishing. What it meant to me and why I was out there is probably a different answer than why I'm out there now at this age.
Mhm.
yeah,
You
walk
know?
us through that because you've told me
Yep.
that before. So I mean, you start
I
out,
mean, when you're early on, anybody out there's learning to fish, if it's 3 years old or into your age where you recognize what you're doing, you don't really get it till you get it. You're just kind of out there, you're learning something, you really want to catch a fish, right? We talked about this,
yeah,
and you don't really understand what like mending is or the entomology of a river or what the heck's
right.
going on.
You're
And
Golden Eagle
you're
out
just out there, you're looking decent, you're trying to fish, and I'll be damned, you have a stick and you catch a
Rusty
sucker,
hook.
right? But once that first connection happens for me, like when it happened, I can't really even remember my first real tug on a fly rod.
Yeah.
But it was like you're hooked, right?
You're hooked, yeah.
And if that was a top water or staring at a dang indicator or whatever it was, but as that's progressed for me over the years, it's the connection with the outdoors. It's a connection with friends. It's a connection with yourself, right?
Right.
And a fine means to not trying to escape reality, right? We're all career men and been doing a lot of work for myself 26 years now
Right.
and feeling that point where you get some burnout, you get to the middle 3/4 part of your career and just want to go like clear the mind or recharge the soul. And then I found myself even trying to do that maybe a little too much. Pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
But we always say we don't like the word balance, but it was a good one. I try to balance it as
Right.
best I can. And I don't know. I love that. A moment where it probably kind of clicked for me was watching different anglers that I was blessed to fish with, like yourselves, right? Quinn, you learn something from everybody
Yeah.
you're with, and Luke, and then you kind of find yourself in a position where people are learning from you, and I just
Yeah.
love that connection.
Well, in that moment, you get around the
Mhm.
guy that can fish really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you don't have an ego, it's beautiful because you realize I've got so much to learn, and
Yeah.
it can be really. I think for the wrong guy, it's discouraging. Like it's always been really encouraging to me
Mhm.
to get around somebody that's so good and you fish. I'm lucky enough, like I get to fish with dudes that are just really freaking good all the time, right? Like every one of you guys is guided at one point. You spend more days on the river than most guides as it is, but every time I get around somebody else, that's just amazing. I'm just so encouraged by it because um, that's what, like you said, like you don't ever win.
No.
You won't win fly fishing. There's a lot of things like that, but
And you mentioned something being encouraged, right? I've also
yeah,
had moments of being
Discouraged?
discouraged,
Yeah.
not necessarily because of the fish connection, but maybe the intimidation factor. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, walking into that fly shop for the first time, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you have to put the ego down, right? We all have that
Yeah.
somewhere in us.
Yeah.
Or, rowing you guys, right? I've been through that. Like I knew how to row a boat when I fished with you the first time, but I didn't feel comfortable doing it because I didn't want to mess a day up for somebody, like
Sure.
potentially. And Quinn, you're amazing on the sticks, like one of the most amazing guys I've ever seen row a boat.
Thank
And
you.
just the way you slow that river down and pick it apart, and it's so much fun. And I'd much rather you like throw a whitefish at my face in the back of the boat, be like, "What's going on back there, Tony?" Than mess your run up. But I know you're a man of patience, so it's taken being with
Yeah.
great humans, very patient humans, for me to evolve through this
Right.
to this age, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
And learning that. Plus, just being a steward of these rivers, man, all of them. I love the diversity of different rivers.
Yes.
Different, seeing the rivers through the eyes of others, right? And like Quinn's eyes, that he's mentioned with the mile, like he's seeing that, and seeing it through Quinn's eyes is special. Or our boy Nate up at Dark,
Yeah.
I was sick, like
Yeah.
seeing it through his eyes.
Yep.
And you just absorb all that,
Right.
and you try to retain as much of that as you can. And then the next time I'm potentially up there without Quinn or
without somebody else.
Nate,
Yeah.
I can pass that through the best I can.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of it, is it has to be passed. It has to be passed down. Right. And so, Quinn, I want you to pick up the progression, because I think you actually understand the same progression. So Tony says, we come out, we fly fish. Our first goal is just to catch fish. Right. And then I think our second goal is to probably catch as many fish as possible. Right. Is it as many, or is it a big one?
I think it was like as many.
Many
is
You
number
just
two.
want to go to
Many is number
numbers,
two.
right? Your progression is just catch any damn fish. Second progression, part of that is numbers. And then third,
I think third is size,
you just start chasing size.
and then fourth would probably be species.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But then you settle in at some point, right?
Back to just wanting
catch
to
a
catch a
fish.
fish.
Right.
I think there's a book written about it, like it's similar to like the fly fisherman's journey, similar to like a mayfly, going from larva to full hatch to laying eggs to back to larva again.
Yeah,
Right.
a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys get hung up. We can all get hung up a little bit on the big fish once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Because you think about it, like Brian, answer your question. Like for me, it was starting off like the learning piece of fly fishing and calming of the mind, because fly fishing keeps your mind so busy. Like if you're truly immersed in fly fishing, I think that, especially on a river that's moving and you're moving, and then you add a drift boat to that too. If to learn, you truly have to be paying attention and be fully present. Like you have to be where your feet are at that time. And for me, that was really good for my mind.
Yeah, I love that
Absolutely.
too. Like when you get so into like the cell phone, the business side, where we all go to work from, whatever, if it's 7 a.m. to, 7 p.m. on certain days. But it's just nice to be able to have that moment where you get in the, for me, so often if I'm in the boat, especially in the drift boat, which is like, if I get to go to heaven, it's a drift boat with flip-flops.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Shorts.
And a cooler. What's that?
I didn't say that. He said shorts.
Shorts,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
exactly.
All of it.
Shorts, a flip flop, a sun shirt, and a never-ending cooler of banquets.
Banquets
You
or
know what I mean?
Modelo's.
And they don't bloat me. I don't get
A
bloated.
non-bloating beer.
That old man,
Yeah.
unfortunate, part of life now where, they're not as, God, they're so good. But
When
anyway, I got distracted.
when does like traveling in different locations start playing into that?
I think that's that species chase, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
So you
Oh,
start
yeah,
off, you start off chasing that one fish, right? Hey, how do I hook a fish? And then it goes to how do I hook multiple fish, which I think requires education, because anybody can get lucky once, but to go, hey, I hammered on 20 rainbow trout today. And then, but to be able to go do it on another river too. So then you're adding skill. Like I know how to read water. I know how to read depth. I know my entomology and all those key pieces and trout behaviors, which breaks into seasons too. And then you have to have the cure behind it too, right? So there's so much learning in that phase of going from one fish to multiple fish,
Yeah.
and then to the fish. I think you're upping that skill up even more. And then once you have the fish, if you think a few times, which we all have had, the honor to do a few times, it goes like, how do I gotta start chasing species? Like we went and did the steelhead trip together. Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like yesterday, but
Yeah.
such a great
I
time.
can
And
still hear you moaning in your sleep.
we were supposed to talk about that today.
Hey, I didn't. There were no.
Dill weeds and the other guys, man.
Quinn had a really good dream. I think we were bunked up together. And
Well-
I wake up and I'm like,
Oh goodness.
I think he's almost done.
Just let him finish.
He's finished. Let him finish.
That's they were kind.
I
They
talk
were,
a lot in my sleep, so
I wasn't talking.
He wasn't just moaning.
love it.
he was in a pure euphoric state.
I had
He
to
was-
call your wife and go, what do I do now?
It must have been something to
Just
do
had to
with.
wake you up.
It was probably the Carl's
Clean it.
Juniors down in
Exactly.
Lewiston or something. You had been eating so clean. You threw you some junk food
Oh, I
and
had to wake you up. and
sent
say,
you into a tailspin.
clean yourself up, Quinn.
I think it was that liver that I ate that night.
We did have.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Middle Idaho. You're going to get some interesting food, but yeah. So that we were bunked up in a place in Idaho, steelhead fishing, and yes,
Mm-hmm.
a trip where we spent 3 days on the river,
Mhm.
and knowing we might catch 1 or 2 fish,
It's true.
and couldn't have been happier.
Yeah.
Speaking of that species, right? I had never gone after a steelhead before, and I wouldn't have even been able to land that first one without you, right?
Without
Just 'cause
Quinn.
of the guy on the
Yes.
sticks, as I mentioned, like
Yeah.
the way he steered that boat and
Yeah.
told me to breathe.
Oh, that was a beautiful moment, right? When
Breathe, Tony.
you're
Enjoy,
just freaking
enjoy
out,
this.
and Quinn just gets up, kind of behind you because he's
Yeah.
now we've anchored. He's got the net out, and he goes, "Tony, just breathe."
Enjoy
And-
it.
Yeah, and it was cool to actually see you kind of get that coaching of like
Mhm.
settle in, just soak this moment up,
Yeah.
watch the fish
I
jump.
think like the pressure when you get into these species, if it's steelhead, permit, whatever you're doing,
Bonefish,
right? Like
tarpon.
Oh, yeah,
even
that's the next
going
one.
my first trip to Pyramid, I was
Yeah.
we had 3 days there, and I'll come back on this, but that pressure of going for a destination and a fish, I think
Yeah.
I wanted that fish so bad. I wanted that steelhead
Right.
to get to that net just because it's not a quick drive up for that same rainbow or brown.
Yeah.
And when that happened and it all came together, however many minutes later, it was just like, and I think when you're chasing the species, I've been bone fishing, I've gotten smoked with tarpon in last year, and
Yep.
that pressure, and maybe that's coming like through the rod and resonating through the line, and they're feeling that or whatever's going on. But it was really cool you did that because
Well, I think what you're like talking about, Tony, like what resonates really well with me is when you're chasing a species and you're doing destination trips or, whether it's big browns or big rainbows or tarpon, GT, permit, bonefish, steelhead, it's always that learning and you get to experience that for the first time. And it brings you back to the starting of fly fishing,
dude,
because you're new
100%.
at it and you're humble and you're like, I'm trying to learn how to catch this species.
Yes, and like back on that ego and humble. So my first time ever bone fishing, we were on a trip at Maui, and I found the best guide, John Tarbin, out of Kihei, and we went off a 17-foot Hobie, and I thought I was pretty decent at like a double haul.
The salt will
I-
humble you.
Yeah. So, and the guy, he was really cool, man, guide, and got me on, and, we did some practice casts. He's like, all right, let's rip. I think my best cast that day was me, excuse my language, shitting the bed on a cast and like flopping it back, and the spider crab goes in the water and a bonefish swims by it. He's like, we just kind of looked at each other, but I landed a couple other fish that day. I lost 3 bonefish, and they're, believe it or not, like off of Maui, there's some sizable bonefish there.
Really?
If you ever look it up off the Kihei side, yeah, they're known for their larger bones there. But the problem is it's not flats. You got sand shoots and coral kind of mixed.
Okay.
And we were off of a Hobie kayak, which was sweet with H bar standing, super sturdy, and it was a hoot. But let me tell you, man, when I got home, I went straight to the lake, and I got really good at double hauling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better. I practiced and I practiced because you spend the money, you got the pressure, you want the fish, and it just keeps you humble. And it was awesome. It was part of my journey of learning, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You didn't ask me what my first fishing story was. I
We
was a
haven't
little
got
sad,
there
dude.
yet. We're going to get there.
Yeah. Let's get there.
Trust me.
I can
'Cause I
remember
know.
all 4 fishing trips. So.
So, where were we at? Where'd we leave off?
We were just talking about getting humbled,
Yeah.
ego,
Yeah.
species,
Hawaii.
Hawaii,
species.
wherever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with the cast thing, like I think that one thing that humbled me and Quinn were in Belize this year was just, I've made a living out of throwing things far,
Mhm.
and And then to see these little guys that are just these little Belizean guys that are just so efficient or proficient with throwing that. But it was interesting to learn. You know, when you see people do it online and you watch the videos, you think it's just like getting more and more and more line out there. But really, it was like once that shooting head's outside the tip, you're done. You know what I mean? It's like one good back cast and forward and let it rip, right? And just it's not always more. It's like just like typical anything with fly fishing. It's that touch, it's that finesse, it's knowing your equipment. And so we had a little break just now, and Tyrel reminded us that we haven't asked him about his first fishing trip.
Yeah, I was a little sad.
I'm sorry we left you over there in the corner all by yourself, Tyrel.
I was thinking
I was a really bad part of one of them.
I don't remember. That's my first fly fishing experience.
And last? No. I took you
No.
again.
I've been to the mile once,
Yeah,
and that
okay.
was amazing. 12 hours.
Yeah.
I think we spent 12 hours.
Yeah.
Floating.
Yeah.
It was one of those long July
had
days.
Good
Okay.
margaritas.
The margaritas
We
were
were packing
flowing.
a pipe. I was in a pipe phase, and we stopped in Laramie, and I wish I remembered her name.
I looked
But
it up
she
for
sold us the
somebody the other
best
day.
tobacco that we'd ever had.
Yeah, there's this gal that mixes her own tobacco, like
Yeah.
blends her own, like vanilla this, and
What's the name of it?
I looked it up the other day.
Tobacconist.
Yeah,
Tobacconist.
No
it was really cool. So Tyrel and his buddy Anchor were in the
Yeah.
Army together at the time. You guys had some leave.
Yep.
And we
Yep,
got to
yep,
get
yep.
you up at the mile and get you in the boat a little bit.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
But your first fly fishing
Yeah,
trip.
dude, you were. That one was in the snow, but fishing fun was back trout farm growing up, and
Yeah.
the bluegill pond.
Yeah.
And I remember it started before I ever went fishing. Joe woke me up. I think he woke me up with a school paper, just a blank school paper that had fillets in it, and we cooked those for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
really?
And then we'd go and catch bluegill, and it was like you threw it in, you caught a fish.
Yeah,
And I had my
bluegills
little
are
ugly
super
stick
rewarding. Yeah.
that I was pretty pumped about. You know,
Yeah.
And you had food.
a lot of masturbate, and we
Yeah.
went from there. You know?
I love
Yeah.
it. I love
And
it.
we got a little spoiled, Tyrel, as kids, because our grandfather had a trout farm growing up.
Yep.
Right. So he stocked high
That's
mountain
amazing.
lakes with an airplane. And so what an interesting guy.
How cool
but
is
yeah,
that?
it was incredible.
Yeah.
And
You ever
so
go up with them?
no, by the time we were older, he had stopped flying, and he was just doing the normal truck
Mm-hmm.
with the tank, and he'd back up to the lakes and dump kind of southeastern Colorado, the mountains and things that were down on the southern part of the state.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, there were 3 different runs, natural springs on the property that would run out, and he would start with, just like the eggs and the hatchery. And it was just a hatchery, and as they'd get to that stocking size, and I think they bought them by size, right? They might buy like 1,000 5-inchers and what
Yeah.
I mean, 200 of these and a couple hundred of those or whatever. But we fished, and I cleaned a lot of fish ponds. Mostly it was just cleaning fish ponds.
Yeah.
Those
You can
things get
learn
nasty. What's
so
that?
much. Learn so much at a hatchery.
Yeah, you really could. But those fish would eat just a shiny hook.
Mm-hmm.
There was no real challenge to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You throw a handful of dog food or whatever it was that you threw in there and threw a hook in the middle of it, you caught a fish. So
Was that your first fish?
Yeah, I mean that's
no, that was for sure my first fish.
Yeah.
yeah. That
I don't
and
remember it, but yeah.
City Park of Lahana
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
pulling out some monster
Hogs.
catfish. I mean, I remember 5th grade maybe. Jimbo comes and picks me up, and it's monster.
Heck
catfish.
yeah.
And he's like, "What are you gonna do with that?"
Exactly.
Do you like
Exact-
catching catfish?
I did know what I was doing.
Would you ever go noodling?
Yeah,
You would.
I would try.
You really would.
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
man, I don't
Not
know.
in a million years.
Yeah.
What if
know.
Brian had to put his knee on your back to hold you into the water, and so you get your get all the way in?
Yeah, I'd
there?
want entry level.
Yeah. Dude, when you
I don't
see
think I
those-
can go in for multiple minutes and
There's
Hey, you
no
see
way.
some
but
of
you
those-
just
in
put my
hell.
hand in a hole and let's jiggle
Just-
it.
Just
Some
jiggle
guys
that
watching
finger.
the alligators behind me.
Oh,
Dude, I
moccasin
hated
in
those
there.
freaking Jack in the Boxes, man. When I'd sit there and do those, and they'd pop up at me. There's no way I could anticipate that
So you're not noodling.
all the way up.
There's no way. Would you noodle? Would you
Oh,
noodle
yeah.
fish? You would.
I'd noodle
I could
my
see.
face
I could
off.
see Quinn doing
You
that.
would noodle your face off.
Get all in there.
Quinn's a dirty dog.
That's a whole different world for me, man. That talk about species. I don't know if I could, if that's on the bucket list.
It's definitely not on my. And I've
But-
never thought about it for 1 second.
But I would be Quinn's hype man on the
Yeah.
right there with you the whole
I'd pump
time.
you up. I'd pull you by your little
Yeah.
legs.
You wouldn't do it?
No, not at all.
0 chances?
0 chances.
What if somebody was like, hey, you're going to catch 135-pound tarpon, but you got a noodle first?
For what noodle
Ooh,
for a
that's a
catfish?
good one.
Yeah.
How big of a catfish?
You don't know.
His mouth can fit around your wrist.
You gotta go. You got a noodle to get.
Can I wear like
tarpon.
one of those gloves that they used to preg check cows with? Just like
All
covered.
right, I'm in on that.
Yeah, Tony's like, I'm in on that.
I'd probably with
Just
that
a
put
glove.
it in that. Like
If
to
you
do
had a little
this, you could
protection,
get this. Let's try
you're
it.
good.
I don't.
Yeah, you
know
can wear a
why.
glove.
Do people wear gloves to noodle?
Some people do.
Not all those
Not the true ones.
Those
Not
badass
those
chicks.
chicks that
Yeah,
do
those
the
girls,
bikinis.
man. I'm like,
Yeah. Has anybody
do
actually
that?
ever seen a dude noodling for catfish, or have we only? Let's be real.
One.
We all of our knowledge in noodling comes from a girl in a bikini
Yeah.
noodling for catfish.
hopefully this reaches the eyes of some just proficient like
Noodler.
noodler.
Some little
Make a friend. How about
noodling.
turtles?
And his name's could be Bob.
Dude?
Yeah.
Would you do that? Because
Go-
when Wesley's taught like that class,
Oh, dude. Were
and
you?
you gotta like learn which is the front and the back
Yeah.
underwater.
Mm.
They've got like he talks about like
yeah, to
because
feel
he
for
catches these things by hand.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah, I think they
dude.
like trap them, or how do
Yeah, like I think he has he
But
traps them
then
or
you're
something.
like grabbing it under the mud.
But I
and
think
the
you can
muck,
feel,
I think.
like
Yeah,
if
you
people are
gotta get
watching, you can feel
those.
these little ridges on the back.
And the back of him.
But
This
you
is
don't
the
want to
back.
feel the smooth or
You
something.
don't want, yeah. And so, but he freaking Wesley, dude, catches these things, and this is like one of my treasures in life. A little dusty.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool from old man
Very
Wesley,
cool.
dude? Get
Yeah.
to see him actually tomorrow.
Yeah,
Fly out
man.
to South Carolina. But I would do the turtle thing with Wesley because he's a legend.
Yeah.
You know, dude, he'll make some. We can have turtle stew.
There's
He
so
cooks these
many
bad boys up.
so many ways to catch a damn fish.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, just to be clear, no, I don't think I would noodle. If there was like, how big was the tarpon?
135-pound tarpon.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably noodle for that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going on a fly rod?
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude,
How
I
is
had
that possible?
when me and Quinn hooked up. You can almost still see the burn on my finger. I had the fly line burnt my finger, dude.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Hooked into a tarpon and he jumped twice and just spit me out. He cut me off actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
awesome. You got the connection though.
Got to connect. Quinn got to connect as well.
I did.
Neither one of us landed. We landed all the other species. Bonefish are kind of whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like in Belize, especially, there's so many bonefish. I mean, we kind of got bored with bonefish after a couple of hours. We're like, good, let's
All right. Let's keep
Perfect.
pushing,
Something big.
pushing through these.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, let's go find a permit or tarpon.
Yeah.
You know,
I had
Yeah.
a great tarpon experience down off of Anna Marie Island with Caleb on those little flats.
yes,
But boy, we were chasing pairs. We're watching them, getting out in front of them. We were
Yeah.
hoping they were in bigger groups. They just weren't. Had a lot of shots.
Mhm.
yeah,
Watching those things just come out of the water for air, like, and you
Yeah.
see that like chrome.
oh my
And
god,
it was awesome. Just being present and where you're at. And the day went on, and our guide was like, it's like, I'm sorry guys, you just want to go out and do some deep sea. I'm like, no,
We're in
we're
on this all
sticking.
day
We're all the
long.
way in. I don't
Yeah.
care. And I'll be back somewhere in the world for them.
I think something that I love the most from that trip, and Tony, I'm sure you can relate to this too, but when you're fishing for a species that you've never fished before and that excitement hits, like you
Mhm.
get the giddies, right?
Mhm.
Or as I say, like I blacked out. As soon as I
Yeah.
hooked a tarpon, like rod was the other way,
Yeah.
wrong way. I forgot which way my reel spun.
Adrenaline,
Like,
everything goes
everything.
through. Yeah.
And it's so cool that a sport can still do that to you.
See, I needed to be there with you and say, enjoy this, Quinn.
take a breath,
Take a
Quinn.
breathe,
take
Quinn.
a breath.
I needed some payback. I wasn't there for you, buddy.
Dude, you should have. I could have used you there.
Yeah.
Quinn,
Well-
what's the stupidest thing you've ever done with a fly rod?
The dumbest thing I've ever
What's
done
like the
with a fly
biggest
rod?
kind of mess you've ever gotten yourself into?
Oh, I think when you told me I had to go take a timeout and I sat by the rock.
You really want to go there?
No.
You want to talk about how we got to your timeout? Mo?
Just fishing way too much.
Yeah, fishing way too much.
Those long July days.
You might
in
have
Wyoming.
found some treats in the fly,
Those 12-hour
the fly
days.
box that was left over from one of those dirty hippie guides that were out there
Yeah.
or something. right?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. How about you, Tone? What's the
Well-
biggest? What's the biggest kind of
Gaff or just moment.
the worst situation you ever put yourself
Oh,
into
I've
fly
had
fishing?
it's countless, but I've had a handful. When my reel split off the back, and the back of the boat was one, and I couldn't even. I was so tired and everything else, I couldn't even comprehend like where'd my reel go? Where's it? It's like, Quinn's like, what the hell's going on back there, Tony? You know? And
I was in the front of the boat, and
I
Quinn
just,
was
my
rowing.
brain wasn't working at that moment, and we got her together.
There was too many Modelos.
There was something. Yeah.
Something.
It was a fun day.
We look back. Well,
But
we're fishing.
I'm going to tell you guys, though, honestly, Tyrel, we've had some unbelievable days on the water, all of us out there, here.
Mm-hmm.
And that day up on that river in that weather, 2 days with you guys,
Yeah.
that day one was one of the most memorable days I'll ever have, just for the fact of, like I said, we were probably the only boat on that entire river system that day.
Yeah.
And not just that section. I'm probably talking like the whole system. And there was no W, no wind.
Breaking drifts
just
to get
coming
in there.
down soft, breaking drifts to take out.
We had to dig the boat out of the shed.
And it was like all these little victories to get us to the water. And
so by the time you're in, you won.
And then it was like immediate.
Totally.
Like the gods just shined on us, and the rods were bent over all damn day. Like double. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was a great day. And yeah.
That was a special day.
It was a special day.
And that's where you you had too many Modelos or whatever. And we're in the front catching fish, because I don't want to let this story go without.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and just the moment where Quinn kind of looks back and he goes, "Tony, what are you doing back there?" And we look back, and it's like this bird's nest. I don't know how you did this.
I don't know.
You had reeled your flies.
I think I had
and everything.
I was like,
oh,
it's a beautiful day out. I'm just like messing everything, singing up my entire rig.
Everything.
The triple rig is in the reel.
Rookie move, dude. It was bad. It was bad. If I had been in the front of the boat at that moment, I would have been in the back of the boat.
We'd have kicked you out.
But I was already in the back, so it was cool.
I love the story. I just was like, I didn't know where it was going to go. We're going to keep going on that one, because there was so many good memories.
There was a lot of fun.
Well, and I'll just go here, whatever. As we're sitting in one of the runs, and this is 3/4 of the way through the float, and I just got done getting my crap figured out, and Brian's up there having a charcuterie tray in the front of the boat, and Quinn all of a sudden just, "Oh my God, it's a drone!" And he looks up, and it was a friggin' Cessna coming,
full ass big plane
through the valley. But the way it was like coming, it's like a drone. So. Dude, we were not in a good spot at the end of the day. That, all bets were off. I will still, to this day, when I come floating into that run, or Eddie out there, and we kind of butt up on that little island, I think of Quinn
and the drone.
Yeah,
it was really high up in the sky, though.
It was, and I could see
something was really high.
Honestly. He had me bluffed, dude. I was like, it is a drone. It was a Cessna 182 coming in.
Oh, man, that was a good one.
Yep. And And then did we bump into some guys coming out when we pulled out, and saw some of the guys I knew, and I said, how was the day, guys? And they're like, "Oh, man, it was slow." And I just kind of looked back at Quinn in the back seat, and he's just like,
Don't say anything.
Yeah. And we didn't. And it was a moment that we shared that was awesome.
Some of those you keep to yourself.
It was a great day.
Yeah.
And many more. And that kind of segues me into something I want to ask. Like, you have two forms of fishing, right? Or when you're fly fishing, you have your bank buddies and you have your boat buddies, right?
Yep.
So 2 different breeds. And I believe guys that have fished on the banks for a long time and worked rivers and up and down, and have got into the boat and learned the boat program, and even as a fisherman or even on the sticks, can get it both ways. But those guys that haven't experienced that boat, it's a different, they haven't punched through yet, and they just don't get it until. I mean, what's your take on that, Quinn? With some of the guys you fish with outside that maybe haven't. You're going to spend 14 hours in a day
boat
with
3 guys,
a team sport, 16 feet
apart.
And
I think that's one of the big differences. Is boat fishing is a team sport.
I agree.
Right, and I think not everybody that's fishing wants to be with other people. Like there's a lot of guys that want to get out there and be alone. I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah. Social fisher.
I'm a social fisher.
Social angler.
I like the team sport aspect of it, whether you're on the sticks or you're front or back, it doesn't matter. you get to go to bed going, I caught a lot of fish today.
Mhm.
And I've had those days where I've rode the whole day. And I'll go to sleep kind of like thinking I caught a bunch of fish, and I have to
Mhm.
remind myself, well, you were just rowing the whole day.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I mean, I want to hear what you think, Quinn, because I guess I interrupted.
Wow,
It's a
you're
question for Quinn, but I think that for me is that my initial,
I
like,
love it.
it's a team sport, when you're fishing out of the boat.
It's definitely a team sport, and I think the boat's different, especially talk about being on the sticks. For me, as I was guiding, was you learned you brought up something. You said, "I went to bed and I caught a bunch of fish, but I was on the sticks."
Right. Yeah.
You caught all those fish.
You have a lot more to do with it than you think, don't you?
You're running the whole program.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's your line, it's your drift, you're setting rigs up, right? All of it. So if a boat's truly buttoned up, it's a team, but the guy on the sticks run the program.
Yeah.
You're the one fishing. They just have the rods.
Right.
Especially, I mean, if you're side drifting, especially.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, if you're throwing dries or ripping streamers, it's probably a little bit different. But if you're side drifting, it's 100% the
Mhm.
guy on the sticks.
Or even when you're throwing drives, like my buddy Casey, I fish with some, like, one of my favorite things in the world to do is to get out of the boat, put him in the front, and then walk, you know what I mean? Walk in the river really, really slowly and just kind of walk him over to a fish
Yeah, the
Yeah.
taxi
and
program.
just
Yep.
taxiing a guy into a dry fly, like to that
Yeah.
perfect setup, and just kind of walking down the
I
river where
agree.
you're just picking fish apart. And what an absolute,
Mhm.
like, oh, I freaking love it, man.
I agree. I did not guide like you, but in my evolution of being on the sticks, I think it's more. I love watching somebody else catch one.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
it's fishing through them or fishing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. If it's my son, if it's my
Well, even
best
better if it's your
friends,
kid.
like
Yeah.
your kids, it's unbelievable. But and it was neat for me because I did have a couple buddies that outside of you guys that were bank guys that kind of went through the agony with me, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
pain and the suffering and the
Of learning the boat.
compromise and the sacrifice of like the whole day of coming up and just getting blown all over the river, having this moment, right? And then
Yeah.
like for those guys that have that grit to stick with old Tony and trying it themselves to like get through,
Yeah.
and there's a couple of them. I'll just Barry's one of them, man. Barry
Yeah, old
Schmidt, like
barreled.
old
Yeah.
barreled dude.
Yeah, he's
Peace
tough.
out, barreled. He's so much fun because we had to get through that anxiety curve of just slowing the river down and learning and doing. And then as I started like with Luke was extremely patient with me. And for me, now that I'm to a point where now I can tag team you guys down the river, following some of you guide
Right.
guys,
Right,
and
right, right.
still be having success, it made me feel good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
okay, I'm learning something, I'm growing, learning something new here. And back to what we said early on in this, it's just always about chasing this, you know, something you really can't, I think, master. But, I mean, you can get really damn good at it.
Yeah. Yep.
But then I love the diversity of different fisheries. Like when
Yeah.
you can, like you said earlier, if we can do that on the North Platte, you can go to the Clearwater, or you can go row the Blue, or you
Right.
can go
Or the green.
the
Yeah.
Green, or wherever, any of these rivers, right? Like, and doing it, without always having a guide, don't know
Yeah.
what to do and learning it and going through the
And
agony. It's been
I
kind of
like
fun.
being bad at it, right? Like when we
Yeah.
were, I forget what year it was. We were up. Me and Quinn had gone up. Who was? I don't remember. Casey maybe was with us. We were fishing the Clearwater, and our guide friend who, Aaron, who kind of introduced me and Quinn. I was rowing the boat, and he kind of just started yelling at me from across the river because I was sucking. I was sucking on. I was rowing like shit. And then I got in his boat, and I fished from the front of the boat, and I missed a couple fish, and we got back to the hotel room that night, and he was just kind of all over me all day, and I was like, dude, you gotta freaking chill.
Mhm.
Like, I like that I suck at this. I like not being good at it.
Yep.
It's fun to come out here and not be great.
Yeah.
It's nice to be back at the bottom rung again, where if you're in a life where you're trying to always chase the top rung and be the best and being the best and being the best. I love going out to a river I've never been in to go, I know for sure I'm going to suck at this for the first couple of
Yep.
days. And that's what I want.
Yep.
I want in a weird way, it takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Like your expectation for, landing all the fish and perfect setup and perfect drift kind of goes out.
Well, in that, yeah, talking about like, you got to, all of us in this room and out there. I mean, how many times though, prior to that, early in this journey, have you been absolutely just frustrated as heck, right? With
Yeah.
yourself.
Oh, a ton.
And, going through that, calmly reminding yourself that like, look where I'm at, look what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
And that agony, and I think we've all been through the, like you guys with your hunting, man. I watch all these, right?
Yeah.
I know all you guys. It's
Yep.
impressive. It's amazing to hear your guys' stories and the process and stuff I don't even know, like scents on clothes and crap that, that I
Sure.
don't get, but I know you guys are just so dialed in and learning through that process of like becoming a hunter, right?
Yeah.
Declaring.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
what
fishing is still hunting, right?
it is.
Yeah.
If you're not sitting at a lake just trapping them, like, I kind of think like plunking is one thing and
Mm-hmm.
hunting or.
Yeah, if you're walk weeding and you're sighting
Mhm.
fish, or especially if you're on the sticks too, because then you're watching the whole program.
Mhm.
Going back to that,
Right.
you have so much more visibility, and then it truly becomes a hunt, right? If you're dissecting a river,
Right.
And then he's dissecting my rig after I'm in the back of the boat.
Tyrel, what's your perspective, man? I mean, we're sitting here talking fishing, and it's not a world you spent a lot of time in. I mean, what's your and do you have a curiosity around kind of like how these guys get so obsessed with it? Because it's got to be a little bit.
No,
from
the
outside.
curiosity of this session, I think it's like anything, and you started right with like people seeking that thrill, changing their lifestyles, like looking for something. I think it's the same with archery, jujitsu, like all these things we're doing. It's like we can't perfect this, but we can like put thousands of hours into it and try to get somewhere. And I think they're
Right.
really similar.
Yeah.
I don't have that really, you know.
Yeah, with fly fishing.
Yeah. I mean, we've been a couple times. It's fun. I don't know how to tie it. I'm
Yeah.
never gonna go by myself.
Yeah.
It's just like
There is sort of that velocity you have to carry into it where you
said
go
it.
enough initially to like get over that hump.
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
it last week in last week's podcast about that first initial acceleration over that hump you were talking about with Bob and Tyrel, right?
Yep.
And can I commit to this? And I'm going back to like the fly shops, man. Like, or first time I walked in and that is some overwhelming stuff.
Dude, fly fishing is the most. It's like almost intentionally intimidating.
Yeah.
I think there's some old fuckers like 7 generations ago. They were like, how confusing can we make this?
Yeah.
How much more difficult can we make it? And we've made it really overwhelming.
Like,
if
of
you're
all
young.
these flies,
No, they're
for
not.
us
They're
or for
not
the fish,
necessary.
you know?
What I mean? They are, right?
Yeah.
And that's another progression that happens is like the number of flies you carry in a fly box when you're younger. You start out with like your basic, 4 or 5, and then pretty soon, next thing you know, you're carrying like 7 or 8 fly boxes.
I'm gonna put when ruck list is full blown. I'm just gonna have my fly box on it, and everybody can just pull it off. It's just gonna be a bunch of random stuff,
just a bunch of random shit. But now, like I can go out if I know the river, right? I'll go out with just an old Zen can full of the flies I need,
what you need for the day, or
and just the one size of tippet you need, and you're going to catch fish.
Yep, simple. Back to simple, right?
Yeah, and I don't
simple. Back to
I think fly fishing
the stick.
Yes,
and I think we can get lost in that. I think the industry has gotten a little crazy into that.
Yeah.
Which, good or bad, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Yep. It's being in it and having close friends in it and us watching that industry evolve. It's insane. And it's good for the advocacy and bringing attention, but it's so bad too. Like some of the stuff we're speaking of with these rivers coming under fire and what we're seeing and the changes, but whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
right?
whole nother podcast.
I have a ton of respect for the boat, on the sticks, as you guys call it.
Yeah.
Because that's so impressive and it's so hard. Like when you first sit in there with no other knowledge, and it's like, making this arm and this arm.
Back to what I said about getting it, right?
Yeah.
Like the first time you get in a boat, like, you see these guys and you don't know. You're just like, they're just floating down the river. Oh, that looks awesome. I'm going to do that. You get on the river. You're like, all right, boys, saddle up. And you're rigged all jacked up and you're going and you're short chopping and oversteering. And next thing you know, you're like
up against a rock.
And then you really start to go through those progressions of learning.
Yeah.
And, I've been fortunate enough from my journey to be able to be around some awesome people.
Yeah.
Now it's just fun, right?
Yeah, and it's a bummer, man. I put a hole in my buddy's boat, a wooden boat he built in Montana around the Missouri River, and just the craziest gust of wind and a rock I couldn't even see. Like it must have been sticking up out of the water.
Sniper.
Sleeper rock.
Like a little razor blade of a rock, and it just blew us right over. Boom. and I just see water start coming in from and I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh my god," I felt so
yeah.
and it was we patched it with duct tape. It was able to, like, pull it out, dry it out a little bit, and we
You
duct
didn't have
taped
any
it.
Flex Seal in your backpack?
No, we didn't at that time. No, that'd have been a great idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
been a great
Yeah, a
idea.
little
Yeah,
Flex
just
Seal?
spray it shut, but man, what a bummer,
Yeah.
that day, when that's the reality of it too, is, like, you can bust something, you can break it, and I think that's why it is that there's such a barrier to entry because it's such an expensive thing to get into in the first place to get the boat, and then the fear of, like, if I mess this thing up, if I
Yeah.
flip it, I got my buddies in the boat.
Yeah, there's still some water. I'm like, you know, no way, not
Yeah,
prepared there yet. I have a long way to go,
yeah,
and you have to be real with that. But at the same time, probably outgrow some of these slower
yeah,
meandering rivers, right? These
yeah,
easy breezies, and but at the same time, I just want to get down it safe and have a fun day, and I want to be able to put my son on it and my daughter and
yes.
my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she go out there with you a little bit?
We had a trip planned. She does not love to fish. She loves where fishing takes us,
Yeah,
if that makes sense, for the most part.
yeah,
And Jill and I had a really cool, we had a wild year, Brian, you and
yeah,
I, health wise. So we
yeah.
had a good one planned for late July. And I ended up not feeling well for
You ended
that
up with some
weekend.
cancer.
Yeah, well, that was like post, I'll tell you. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, Jiminy Christmas, but
Yeah,
that was a swift kick in the butt. But no, back on Jill, like I think the first fish she ever caught was literally like an Arctic grayling on a
Oh,
caddis.
really?
She's like, doesn't even know,
Oh my gosh.
and I mean, we know where that fishery is here, and
Yeah.
it was just funny, just like coming out from like a mountain day and just stopped there and teaching her some technique, and she
Yeah, I
caught
still
a
have
beautiful one. Like
grayling.
I could like pull its
Pull
fan
those
up. It was
fans
like
up, yeah.
beautiful fish, and
Yeah.
she's just like, I don't want to hold it. It was like, it was cool.
Yeah.
But
That's so awesome.
yeah. But Caleb has been my buddy, right?
Yeah.
And you guys all know Caleb so well, and he's just a stud. I love him.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the mile with like your dad,
Mhm.
right? He has memories of that place with me and his young, and then we have like a specific rock in the seam on that river, I think near Eagle Hole, that like
Yeah.
it's Caleb Rock, dude. Like we refer to that rock all the time, and like people know that spot is the meeting spot when we like, yeah. And it got its name because Caleb got absolutely dusted there on like 6 Mongo rainbows in a row,
Uh-huh.
and they all just were like, yeah,
Breaking 'em
and just
off.
and the
Yeah.
learning curve for him.
Yeah.
But it's been fun watching him progress because he was a bluegill guy and a bass guy.
I remember seeing him as a little guy. He had like a little wagon
Oh yeah,
with like his PVC and it
dude,
held his rods and
Papa's
his
wagon,
little
man.
fly box
Yeah,
or his tackle box.
yeah.
And
He
he'd walk down to the ponds. And,
Papa gave him a wagon, and when he had passed on, Caleb had kind of did this like really cool. Yeah, it was all like
it
built up
looked
with
like
wood.
a Mexican food.
Dude, it
but
did. You could have got like 4 tamales, some
Yeah,
freaking
exactly.
20-pound
I was
in
like,
there.
I'll take a
Like,
tamale and one
yeah.
of those coconuts.
And he like had hand painted all this cool stuff, and he had
Yeah.
like this little YouTube page. It was like
That's so
Spaz
awesome.
fishing or something, and it's
Nice.
where it all starts, right? It brings you
Yeah.
back to like that initial enjoy. But I mean, at the same time, the poor kid's walking like 8 miles down a dirt road,
Yeah,
pulling
he
his
was.
wagon with
Yeah.
a flat tire.
He was.
happy when he got his driver's license.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, it was awesome. And I didn't have that back on our early initial conversation
Yeah.
about, starting that young. I had that proximity, but it came later in life for me.
Yeah.
Which I love the way it had come into my life. But I would make damn sure Caleb
Yeah.
was in it before
Yeah.
or that.
Have you guys ever had a moment where you kind of lost touch? I just realized I was thinking about myself as you're talking about Caleb, and I remember as a kid, I used to I had a fishing rod, and I'd put it in my backpack, and I'd take like a yogurt or whatever I could find in the fridge, and I'd get on my bike, and I'd ride out to the reservoir, and I would just spend the whole day there. That's
Yeah.
all I did. I still actually have a tackle box in my garage that I found there. I feel bad because some old dude probably forgot his tackle box,
Yeah.
and I found it sitting next to the reservoir. But I was just thinking about like what I love so much about the adventure of riding my bike over the reservoir by myself as a kid
Mm-hmm.
and trying to catch fish. I had no clue what I was doing, right? And I had no money, so I was just tying whatever random, hooks I could afford to buy and just throwing.
Yep.
There was no rhyme or reason. It was just us fishing. But like that thing that you're chasing when you're a kid, and that adventure. And at some point, we lose it a little bit,
Mhm.
you know. And I think every time I see like I don't know why I feel bad for the old guy. There's none of them are listening, but the old guy that has the fish counter hanging off his fly vest,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just that's like the antithesis of what I'm after with fishing. But like, how do you have you ever lost that? Have you ever had to kind of redirect yourself back to what was I after when I started this? You know what I mean? So like, how about you, Quinn? Like, have you ever had to kind of like circle back and go like, what was I? Why did I start this in the first place? And what am I trying to chase here? Because I think it's easy to get kind of lose sight of that a little bit,
Absolutely. Especially when you're doing it every day for a long period of time. You
right?
know, it loses its shininess on the same river.
What was the
Yeah.
shininess? Like, what's the shininess though?
I think the
Like,
shininess is the adventure, right?
Mhm.
Of the unexpected. You're talking about being a little kid and riding your bike with your tackle box.
yeah,
And it's the same thing for adults. Like you're driving to the river early in the morning, 4 a.m. You got your coffee and your buddy, and you've never been there before, and you're going to go on an adventure.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what the day's going to hold, but we're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
right,
You know?
right.
I think once you've done it so many times, that's why it's so good, I think, to evolve as a fisherman or as a hunter
Mhm.
or as a dad or as a
How
businessman
do
or
you do
whatever it
that?
is.
Do you do that with diversity, just different fisheries, as we mentioned, like hitting? I think
Yeah.
I got 22 different rivers in this summer just to try to.
In this summer,
Yeah,
Wow.
between that was also including
and you're still like
rooster fishing in
employed and
Mexico
married,
and stuff.
like you're married, you have a
Yeah, I love
job.
you, Jill. I have a great wife, but yeah, no, it
Yeah,
was
for sure.
22 rivers?
yeah, just different in sections between Wyoming, Colorado. Yeah,
That's insane. And you did
yeah,
salt too,
yeah, and salt. Yeah, that
the
was
same
true.
year.
And for me, I had to reel it in. This was a year of health, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like intentionally throttled back career wise a little bit. Just this year, I was like, I've been on this growth for, like I mentioned, 26 years. So got a little scare. Always had a
So you had kidney cancer.
yes. I can tell the story a little
Tell the
bit.
story.
Yeah, yeah. No, we were at the North Platte, man, in March
Yeah.
last year, and it was a, but they had like a foot and a half of snow dump in there. It was, let's kind of tell it in short. It was a beautiful 3 days in that valley, right? It was like untouched snow. It was back to like nobody was getting in there at that time, or they didn't want to.
Right.
They could have, but we got in there, had the whole valley to ourselves. Everything was great. Day 2 warmed up a little bit. Sun kind of solidified the snow. Day 3 was a little bit stressful, as we all know. Getting in there, it's like okay, the winds picked up, and now things are starting to dry up. Anyways, a little stressful. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
this
yeah.
is what triggered this. Is where I'm getting is once we had the journey of getting the 3 ways out of there, right? The pass, the draw road, or back north. We had to choose north because that was the only way out that day. And it was just a fiasco, just getting like a few rigs out of there, long haul, 30 miles north, a
Didn't you
little
guys have like a
stressful.
tractor? Like somebody come for you
Yeah,
guys out with
yeah.
a tractor?
Old man Cortez himself, the Cortez family.
Yeah,
I
the
had to
cell's named after him,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, one of my buddies got his vehicle. It got stuck in a drift.
Yeah.
And they were great. We saw him taking hay down to feed the cattle, and I went up to the ranch, and thank God he was there. And we were able to like dig into him and get the cables
Yeah.
and pull the rig
Right.
out. But long story short, it stressed me out. I think that week I got home, I just wasn't feeling very well, and I thought I was like just coming down with something, and went and got a strep test. It was negative, and Friday came along. I was at the dinner table with my wife and Caleb, my daughter Delia, and I drank some water, went into the restroom before dinner, and the bathroom. I was like, that is not right. That is not
Were you
right.
pissing blood? What was
Yeah,
going on?
100%.
Yeah.
And didn't say anything to him. Went back in, ate dinner, pounded a bunch of water, went to the bathroom again after dinner, and it was the same kind of thing. And I was like, oof. Jill just saw it on my face. She's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Told her after urgent care. Long story short, got with urology a couple days later, did some tests, some scans, found a big tumor in left kidney. And it was this is March 14th. By April 30th, I was in for surgery, getting
Right.
that thing out.
Yep.
Fortunate for me, my journey with it was very short, swift, and bam,
Yep.
right? But nonetheless, it was a scary one. It was
Yeah.
very humbling. It was like we have all this stuff we talk about with all the guys, right? The work, the
Yeah.
grind, all the goals, and I think we lose sight of things sometimes as
Yeah.
men, right? Our worries and our stresses, and that for me was like
What do you mean when you say lose sight? What do you mean?
Lose sight of what's important. It's
Right.
our health, right? we
Right.
well, we can make money.
Yeah.
We can catch fish. We can do things. It's just that moment was like, I'm gonna slow down a little bit this year.
Yeah.
And I think something's telling me to. And yeah, my slowdown was getting up
Go
22
fishing
rivers
22
and
rivers.
Brian,
It doesn't sound slow,
but it was.
but it seems really peaceful.
It was, and it was a good way for me to connect with myself. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I had a hard time going back to that river because I was there.
It was the memory.
Yeah, it was. I went back a couple of times later in the summer, which it's normally not fishing that great anyway at that time of year. But went up and battled it, and I never just drive up and turn around and come home. And it's a little bit of a jaunt from here.
Yeah.
And mentally, for me, I just had to push through that a few times because I was like, I don't want to have that relationship with this place,
Right.
and that memory of that stressful 3 days that triggered potentially something. It was all just connected for me.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I do think that back on this topic, like you can go that direction. Guys do try to do this stuff to escape something, right?
Right.
And you never want to let that happen,
So fishing's not an escape of something.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think it should be. I don't know what it should be. Shouldn't be trying to escape reality, though.
I agree.
Neverland, or what you called it.
Oh, Neverland.
Neverland.
Yeah. Never grow up.
Yeah.
Is fishing an escape for you, Quinn, or?
I think sometimes, yeah, because and not in a negative way, but just a way to reset,
Mm-hmm.
escape, just the day-to-day hustle and bustle. That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Not planned trips are not escapism, but I think we all have those days as men where, like, I need to go fish for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll rephrase that when I say shouldn't be an
Well,
escape.
I think
but
there's something there, though. Like, I think you're right. Like, it's not
let's not neglect everything else.
it's not about neglecting, but it's also, I think it's a connection. It's a reconnect, right? So it's not an escape from something, because that's like, escape would be drugs and alcohol, right?
Mhm.
Like that's what guys are doing when they do that. I think, right? They're just the meat suit gets heavy, so they're gonna drink till it's light or whatever. But
Numbing.
they're gonna numb out. But I think for me, when I think about it, whether I'm in your shoes or your shoes, is like more of just that a reconnect, right? It's a connection to myself.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think that rather than escaping from the office, I think you sit in the office long enough and you lose yourself.
Correct.
And I think that's what I go to the river for, or the woods. But it's a reconnect to myself, because you get there long enough. And I think for me, my soul is like, I'm done, bud.
Mhm.
Like I'm going to the river. And I've talked a lot about that.
And I think that feeling, though, I know for me, like I have a foundation at home. I have a beautiful, badass
family.
wife behind me.
Yeah.
I have 2 unbelievable children, right? And a group of friends that are amazing,
Yeah.
And I don't think I would enjoy doing this without that foundation. I'd be a lost soul. And you just
Right.
can't go fish to, chase. Some guys do, man, and then it comes
I agree.
around. And for me, I'm full here, right?
When you're
Happy.
here.
The
Yeah.
heart's happy.
Yeah.
So it makes that interest so much more.
I think we used to talk about this all the time when we were guiding, when guys come up book trips and they'd be up there for 3 or 4 days, right? And especially destination stuff. It's like we'd always tell them, be like, you have to go home to your wife and be a better husband, better father.
Yeah.
2 reasons why. 1, we want you to come back,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And 2, that's what she wants too, and that's what those kids need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it does that for a lot of people. It can
Yeah.
it can help better you in many ways.
Fills the soul, man.
It does.
You gotta have a happy soul. You gotta be full. And I think to be complete in whatever journey you're on, right? To be a better man, be a better business owner, be whatever you're doing, right?
Right.
Without being, and I mean, we all have our moments of being lost and going through struggle. But yeah, I think for me, it's the foundation I have. I can enjoy my hobbies because I have such a badass, in my eyes,
Yeah. Partner.
partner.
Yeah.
And she is. I
Well, and
mean,
we're all 4 of us at this table are really lucky to have those women in our lives. I think.
1,000%. Knowing all of them, yeah.
And I mean, even just getting to be here tonight, right? We got studio about 7:15, and it's huge that they even let you in. There's no letting, but like just that you have the ability to go, yeah, I'm going to take off and I'm going to you know, but you got to earn it. I know I had to earn it. Like we did dinner early. I cleaned the house, mopped the
Yeah.
floor, dishes
Yeah.
are done, house is squared away,
Yeah. And
and then I get to come out here and enjoy this time with you guys. But I don't think you don't get to just have both, right? You got to earn
no,
it a little bit.
you do. And yeah, and you want the same for your partner. You want to share those adventures. I'm almost an empty nester, man. I got
Yeah.
one out.
Almost.
Mr. Editor here.
Yeah,
is,
Mr. Editor sitting there listening.
He's out of here,
Yep.
and you know, Delia's what? All our girls are
They'll be
juniors,
17 soon.
right?
Yeah,
So,
all
of
3
our
girls are
you know,
juniors.
so I'm looking at what the future is going to look like, and I'm excited for that connection with Jill and I to be able to really freely hit the road together
Yeah.
and do cool stuff.
Yes.
You know, because I definitely want her by my side more than, you know, anything. I don't want to like try to convince her into how to learn to fly fish, but if she wants
Right.
to be there hanging out and doing whatever, hell yeah. Go.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But
Yeah.
I think a big part of that is like framing the escape part, because we just hear that so much. So, and usually the common answer is like, oh, I got to get away, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Really trying to escape being at the house or whatever. And then, like you said, generally that leads to like sitting at the bar, playing golf for 3 hours, getting drunk, you know,
Yeah.
like, and not necessarily like refilling that cup,
Yeah.
right? Touching your soul with that little bit of
Yeah.
pouring yourself into something. But I think it's like the natural, like, I need this day to be over.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with this.
Well, and then
office.
my problem
Done
is
with
we know
this.
with anything,
Okay.
if it's elk hunting or if it's whatever you're doing, timing of bugs is everything, man. The river's dictating when you're going. You know, if there's a hatch or we know something's coming up, seasonal, whatever it is, a stone hatch, salmon flies, early season, you know, whatever, and something's fishing good, it's time to go. Like I can look at my calendar right on our Google. It's
Yep.
like red, red, green, green, green. I'm like, oh man.
I think the problem,
know?
Tony, though, is that we fished it so much that we can think of an excuse every month.
You're so right with that.
Like, yeah, but December's this.
Yeah.
And then January
It's
has
so
this.
true. I know. And you could, yeah, we could talk ourselves into anything. And then the worst is like FOBLO or FOMO or whatever the hell. Like, I love a nice fishing story and I love a nice photo of a big badass brown or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, okay, boys got down and did their permit. Unbelievable. I'm like, okay, that's badass.
Yeah.
It's, you know, but like when I know I can just sneak up for like 2 hours and see that this big old brown and Quinn's
That's what I was gonna
holding,
ask
I'm
you.
like, or Luke's sending me something. He's like, eat your heart out, Rocky. You know, I'm
what
like,
picture
oh,
is
I
it?
gotta go.
Like, what picture is it that gets you kind of like, I'm packing my truck right now?
Oh,
Yeah. A big brown.
trout.
Yeah. I mean, or
Yeah.
anything.
brown.
A brown trout. Yeah, it's the same for me.
And we all have our fishing lives, right? Like
Yeah.
somebody's like, oh, I'd fish lights out. And I may have been like the only fish they got all day.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, I was down in Denver, Colorado for the day, like dealing with not so more enjoyable stuff, right?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But
Yeah.
Quinn, you nailed it though. I could talk myself into it anytime.
It's hard
Been
right
there.
now because like there really isn't a lot of places you can go
Yeah.
right now and go catch a fish.
At least you elk hunters get a season where you like
Yeah.
build up to something
Yeah,
and then it's
and
just
then
like
it's-
this complete,
but then it's over, you
Like-
know, and you're done.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, I mean, right now when I look at the weather, I feel a little bit better. I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
can't. There's really not a lot to do. Quinn, what did you talked about when like fishing, like in guiding guys, like what did you see like in that? And I know I'm not picking on you with the escape thing because I think I know exactly what you mean when you say it because I know you well enough to know that like you're out there to reconnect with yourself as well. But what about the guys that didn't? Those guys that were Tony with the freaking Yeti over there, just clunking that thing around. Are you hydrated? Is that enough? Leave it on the table so
Tony,
people
what's
can
going
see.
on back there?
Put your shame. Put your shame.
This is what I'm
Shame
talking
on the
about
table.
right here.
Show the world. What
Get focused.
the
man.
hell? Quinn, like just with those guys, because there's nothing better than like the perspective of the outfitter.
Yeah.
You know, because you get to see all of them come through. The guys that bring, you know, I've seen it when I've been up there helping out with guiding a little bit. And it's just like they show up with like 14, 24 packs, you know what I mean? Just brick after brick of, you know, of booze and whiskey. And they're just shit faced the whole time. Like, man, and nothing against the guys that drink, but just like, what are you here for? You know, like half these guys aren't going to remember this trip at all.
Yeah.
They're escaping, dude.
I think it's a big topic, Brian. I
Exactly.
mean, it's so much of fishing goes into who you're with, and that's a big part for me. You know, you might have the days where you're like, "Gosh, I need to get away," but if you and I and Tony are going, it's not escapism by any means. We're
Right.
resetting,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
and filling each other up and talking about life and moving forward. I think in the guide world, you know, we did a lot of different things from corporate trips to the buddy trips to the solo trips, and you know, some solo trips from guys that are docs in big cities like L.A. coming out for a week and visiting so that they can reset. You know, those are very very special trips to the father son trips and their bonding there. The corporate trips to and people getting to know each other from different companies or what that might be and connect is really neat. But then you do have, of course, have the party trips too, which have their time and their place. But to see people leave with their like hearts full, you knew you did a good job, right? To where they're like, gosh, I just don't want to leave. And it's not because of the fishing, but it's because all the guys are sitting around the table at the end of the night playing cards and eating steak and sharing stories and talking about life. And maybe some of those life talks might even be serious at the end of the
Yeah.
night. I
Mhm.
mean, some of my best friends, I mean, yourself included, we met on a river.
Right. Yep.
And I think that that's a true way to connect. People talk about like, hey, go golf with somebody or do something like that. But how much deeper is that connection relationship that you create if you go chase an elk in the woods with somebody for 4 days?
Unbreakable, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. You suffer together, you know, most of the time you're friends for life. Right.
exactly.
The same with fishing. I mean, and with fishing, a lot of times you want to stack the deck against yourself a little bit too. Right. So you check out like something different, something a little hard. We talked about that, but like, I think that's why we do the hard thing too is that adventure of hiking into maybe a different chunk of river you've never fished before. Right.
Yeah, driving to where you've never fished or going to a new river or
Dopamine.
like you and I this summer would hop on a plane and go into a different country.
Yeah. Absolutely a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a guy on Tony, that we haven't, his name was Tony as well.
Mhm.
Tony, sorry.
No, I picked
Have
it
we
up.
have we posted his
Yep.
episode yet? He's from New Zealand, but he has this really cool question. He walks up to people on the river in New Zealand and he asks them, he says, "Has fly fishing ever helped you get through a hard time in your life?"
They always say yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, and they don't always let him record, but I'm gonna ask you both that question, Quinn.
Mm.
Has fly fishing ever helped you get through a hard time in your life?
100%.
Tell us
Many
tell us
times.
about it.
Oh, gosh. Well,
Putting you on the spot.
I think a huge one. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but let's just go straight to COVID. I mean, the whole nation was shut down,
Yeah.
right? People weren't working.
Yeah.
Um, and I was actually a fly fishing guide then,
Yeah.
so we were still able to work. So talk about being grateful, right? The outdoors
Mhm.
was the office.
Essential.
It was
Very essential.
it was
Very
Yeah.
essential. But I think and I was also transitioning from the fitness world at that time too, with part-time guiding, going to the financial space,
Yeah.
which was very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
And I remember like guiding during the day and studying in the morning and studying at the night. And I
Yeah.
was with you on some of those trips
Yep.
doing that
Yep.
and talking about it.
Yeah.
And I think that was definitely challenging mentally and emotionally, but it had not been for fly fishing and just that ability to reset every day and be in nature,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the same.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'm sure I know there's deeper stories too, in life,
Yeah.
much, much deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that it's hard to always pull on those, but it's something that I love that question because I think it helps other men hear of a way to go maybe find a place to reset, like we've talked about, and to kind of deal with those things, right?
Mhm.
And so, like, I love the idea of introducing it, whether it's what's kind of fishing or hunting for us so far on this podcast, but I think both of those things, or just being in the woods, it's such a healing space,
Oh,
right?
100%. Yeah, it's gotten me through a lot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, specific to probably my story with that, we're probably an all-time mental low, high anxiety high,
yeah,
and was in business with you've heard my story with the yeah, commercial development, man,
yeah,
and, had a partnership that was solid, and we had a property we had bought and sold and moved our money into another property and started developing it, and we had some agreements with the city, and we had a GC on board, a big old ass Wells Fargo SBA loan,
yeah,
getting balls deep. I had the house on the line. I had everything. We had just moved into this house over here, and we had a GC go haywire on us and stopped paying subs, and I had some liens starting kicking in, and we were doing everything right and according to, and the bank started circling, and the wolves started circling, and it was a couch sleeping habit developed. You can ask
Yeah.
my wife was looking at our house like, "Oh my gosh, I just love this view." Like, just we had when we bought our house, it was built in 1980. We had a lot of work to do at that
Yeah.
place, right? And I could not get connected to that place because I was there's neck deep and then there was like Tony shit deep.
Yeah.
I was like in very frustrating because it was out of my control. So I used a lot of that time when I would find it through the conference calls and the court, talking with lawyers and all the nonsense we were going through at that time and the stress that was on myself and my partners and causing friction because
Yeah.
we all handle stress differently, right? And that for me, I think kept me grounded, rooted, and thinking clearly through this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, I would go where you're out of service for 3 days. I just do it, like, maybe call it irresponsible or not, but I needed to do it, and when I would hit service, when you'd hit that first ping,
Oh,
dude, my cell phone and I had a hate-hate relationship.
Yep.
And I didn't like it at all, and let me tell you, man, like, a lot of prayer, a lot of faith, but a lot of that time for me thinking myself through some steps I had to go through personally and wondering why did I get into this? But at the same time, it all paid off in the long run and everything did work out. But I think without having that time to connect, my family was getting what was left of me, dude. I
Right.
was so unhealthy mentally. And for me to work through that challenge of something I had never even experienced my entire life. I
Yeah.
mean, probably gave me a little PTSD to ever want to jump into another big business venture like
Yeah.
that again,
Yeah. Yeah.
Had some opportunities over the years come my way,
Sure.
and I'm like
Stutter stepping
tiptoeing. Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
But fishing, the long story short, is it got me through it, man.
Right.
It legitimately did.
Yeah, and I think you have to really think about like what you're after when you're out there. I told this story when Bob was on, but when I was kind of my first trip fishing after the cancer stuff on my end this
Mhm.
year, and I went to the mile and I threw like I was throwing the two-handed spay, all the beads, all the
Yeah.
weight and all the bubble and all that stuff, and was just struggling, right? It was windy. I'm struggling. I'm throwing this and I'm just chasing like I need to catch that big fish, catch that big fish, catch the
Mhm.
big fish. Ended up like falling in the river, soaking my diaper, you know,
Mhm,
and
but
just freaking pissed, right?
mhm.
And went back up to the cabin, um, changed, put on like waders from from the guide shop, or they call it,
Mhm.
it's not a guide shop, it's a dirty ass bunk room in the house, but took some, you know what I mean? Took some waders out of there and rigged up a dry fly rig, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just on a river that you just don't dry fly fish. You don't,
Yeah.
and I think I got back telling both you guys, like, you won't believe what happened, I
Yeah.
caught fish on a dry, but it just kinda taking a step back and going, like, what I'm after here is not to catch the big fish, so the
Yeah.
big rig. It was just a connection moment. I needed to
How cool.
slow
How cool is
down.
that you recognize that in the moment too,
I
right?
think that whatever the powers that be, God, like, he's like, "I'm gonna just dunk you
Mhm.
because you're not paying attention. You're not out here for what you're supposed to
Yeah.
be doing, you know? So I'm just gonna soak you.
Yep.
I'm gonna soak that little diaper you got on,
Yep.
humble you a little bit,
Take your saggy little
take your
pants up the
saggy ass
hill,
pants up, dry
shake
out,
it off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and reset and go back out with a different approach. Slow
Yeah.
down, connect with the river, look
Yep.
around a little bit, try and find that one fish that's rising, um, and see if you can't,
Uh,
make that happen.
100 great story, man.
Right? And it's just I think taking that moment to remind yourself, what am I here for? Right?
Mhm.
That little kid. Quinn and I had that when we were fishing for tarpon, and he had like just an old rod, just a little old bait caster. And Quinn's fishing, and I'm like, "Do you mind if we just throw this thing a little bit?" And I think he looked at us funny because I think most guys out there fly fishing are out there just to throw the fly rod, just for the tarpon. And Quinn and I were like, "Dude, fishing's fishing.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit." You know
Yep.
what I mean? An old like just a little baler rod and just winging it out there and catching
Rusty guides on it.
rusty everything.
Yeah.
But catching the shit out of just any old fish, man. It's like I'm
I
in an
love it.
ocean that I can see like fish are everywhere.
Mhm.
That's
And I'm
you.
like,
You hooked like 40 fish.
oh, I was going crazy, dude. In fact, I kind of missed your tarpon a
Yeah.
little bit because I was hooked up with a barracuda or something like that at that time.
Yep. And I was like, guys, tarpon on. You
Uh-huh.
were like, oh shit. Sorry.
Quinn was like
So cool.
weirdly calm. He was
Yeah.
like, "Hey guys, tarpon."
Yeah. He does that though. He's
You
calm.
know? I'm like, dude, reel it in. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and next thing, snap, it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really important with fishing or hunting or any of that is like, take a step back and,
Yeah.
you know, recognize why you're here. What are you doing? You know,
Yeah.
what are you here for?
It's cool that you faced that too, Brian, and you went up through your journey and found some time alone being a
Yeah.
social fisherman, and you did go
That's
up
hard on
solo.
me. Yeah.
I know. When you did that, man, I'm sure you had the same messages that Quinn and
Yeah.
your brothers know, right? And
Yeah.
for you to go up there and kind of reset yourself, and
Yep.
and you just went through a uber traumatic, more psychological thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the health part is
The health
crazy,
part's really hard.
but you know, when you go through something, you're mentioning vulnerability, you know,
Yeah.
through this as a man, as a husband, as all this stuff, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and for you to go up there and do that by yourself and really connect it's a wonderful place to
Yeah.
be.
And that's
Not
why it's
just
so
that
beautiful,
spot,
right?
just
Like, I
the
think this
river.
is, like, as we talk about it, I think for me, it's always this idea of like, this is a gift. We're here talking about it because it's something that's blessed us so much, and it's
Yeah.
been such a gift for us. And it's like, how do we help encourage other guys to go out and find? If it's not this, and if it's lake, I don't care.
Yeah.
Throw a line in the water, you
Yep.
know. But I think it gives us an opportunity in a really really busy world right now to slow down a little bit and
Yeah, the world's gonna
reconnect.
force you to continue to be busy, man.
Yeah,
It's just the way everything's pulling against us, isn't it?
absolutely.
You
So
know?
no,
That's
it's really good. So guys, I want to say thanks for coming in
No,
tonight.
man, this has been good.
It's been
Thank you.
really really good, and thanks for being kind of our uh, our first shot at the 4-person table. I think it worked okay.
I think that'd be up to the
Yeah, I think we
technician.
did good.
You have to Tyrel, you know,
I don't have much say in life, you know.
Tyrel.
Stop it.
We're just doing good down here. This has been fun though. This is exactly kind of what we're looking for is the ability to just kind of have an open table.
Yeah, we
and
didn't
Yeah.
really
take
have
it
a
wherever.
strict agenda on this. Just kind of
Yeah.
shoot the crap.
So
Be
yeah,
your
you
work
know?
day good.
dude, my little table turned out good, eh?
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah,
bouncy,
it's
but
a little bouncy, but
you were getting fired up. I liked it.
Tony's gonna, yeah. If somebody comes in, they get so fired up they break it. I'm
Dude,
in.
was I
That's
doing my
good.
Italian fire up?
You got
dude? 'Cause I like it. I started getting
Yeah,
going.
let the Italian fly out of him. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Stallion.
it's,
Sorry, guys.
it was really good. So I just want to tell everybody thank you for listening to the Ruckless podcast. We're getting closer on the Ruckless app, guys. We got a couple more months. We're gonna have the full mobile app dropped, but you know, in the meantime, we had some really good updates come out this week. It's getting more and more usable. I'm more proud of it by the day. You know how it is when it's your little baby and you're looking at it too
Yeah.
close. Sometimes it's not quite, you know, it wasn't quite there for a long time. But for you that have stuck with us, we appreciate you listening and downloading and kind of and making use of the app. Please always reach out if there's something you guys want to hear us talk about. We'd love to hear from you. But again, thank you for listening to the Ruckless podcast, and thank you, Tony and Quinn, for coming on, and
Thank you.
brother Bubba,
Thank you
for
guys.
holding it down. Appreciate you
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks for having us.
All right,
Alrighty.
guys.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week.